Hey guys, welcome back to Asher Books. Today I'm going to be doing my August Part 1 wrap-up, and August has been a bit of an interesting reading month for me so far. I feel like I've been in a little bit of a slump. I have been reading some, but just not nearly as much as I usually have been reading. I think it's like partly for a couple different reasons. First of all, there's just been a lot going on, and I feel like I've been a little bit just kind of distracted by that, you know, like starting a new job and things like that. So I feel like sometimes when you have those things going on, you just don't really feel like picking up a book, I do pick up a book and just kind of can't get through it. So I've been reading a little bit slower than I usually do, which is absolutely fine. Like, I'm not mad about that. But I also have been watching a lot of Netflix. So I've been watching a lot more shows and movies. I've just really felt like watching Netflix, and I feel like one of the reasons I usually can read a lot and really quickly is because I don't watch that much TV. So it's almost one or the other for me. I don't know if anyone else is like this. Let me know if this makes sense to you guys, but like a lot of times when people ask like, oh, how do you read so much? It's usually partly because I don't watch that much TV. So anywho, having said that, I feel like I'm kind of coming out of it now. Like towards the middle of the month, I'm kind of starting to like pick up books that I'm really, really loving. I'm kind of on the upward climb of this like kind of reading slump. So anyways, the first book I read this month, technically I read the last day of July, but I don't think I included it in my last video. So it is Loretta Chase's Lord of Scoundrels. I technically read this during the booktubeathon, which if you're wondering, I completely failed pretty much. I read, I think, 2 books during that week. It was my first week back to work, and I couldn't do it. Like, I pretty much just failed it. It was just not the best week for reading, but that's okay. So that's kind of why I didn't make a wrap-up video, because it would have been really short. But anyways, I did read this one, which everyone had kind of been telling me was like such a classic for a historical romance, and I did really enjoy it. You know, it follows Sebastian and Jessica Trent, and I really enjoyed it. My overarching feeling for this book was I give it 4 out of 5 stars. I can see why so many people kind of love it, and I can see all the like classic tropes and kind of the classic feelings that you would get from this book. However, it wasn't my absolute favorite. I did read it really quickly, so it definitely hooked me. This is one of the ones I did read really quickly, and I listened to it on audio. And I would definitely say if you are a historical romance fan, definitely pick this one up, because it is a classic in the genre, and I think it was really fun to read it and kind of know what everyone's talking about when they talk about this book. But I don't know, it just, to me, wasn't my favorite. Like, I've read other books that I thought were a little bit better than this. My God. So yeah, I liked the book. It just wasn't like that different for me, and I don't know if that's because I have read quite a few other books that are a little bit similar. Like, since the next book I read this month was called Tropical Blues, and it was by Cheryl Woods. And this book is, I guess you'd say, a romantic suspense or like a romantic mystery. And I got such like Nancy Drew vibes from this book, like adult Nancy Drew vibes. So I had never read anything by Cheryl Woods, but I know she's a really like well-known and loved author. So basically this mystery takes place in, I think it's somewhere in Florida. I'm pretty sure it's tropical, so I'm pretty sure it was Florida. And she is living at a condo, our main character, and she finds a dead body. And basically it's just this mystery trying to figure out who this man was, who was killed. I just really got the like meddling people vibe. Like, then she meets the, I think he's a detective who's doing the case, and basically he's like the male kind of lead with her, and I just felt like the whole time he was kind of like liking her, but also like, stay out of my case, kind of like Nancy Drew or like Scooby-Doo or something. So it was a very like kind of cut and dry mystery in that way. I did really like it. The romance in it was very, very slow, and I'm pretty sure this is a new book in a series for her, or I don't know if it's a new series, but it's the first book in a series, so I can definitely see where the relationship between the detective and our main lead female character is going to kind of go. And I think in the next books it's probably going to be maybe a bigger part, but for this one it was kind of just them getting to know each other. And I will say I didn't have it picked. I didn't know exactly who killed the man, but it was definitely interesting because it was at this like kind of fancy condo complex, and like everyone was kind of a suspect, so it was almost like Nancy Drew meets like, I don't know, Clue, because he was killed with like a knife. So I don't know, it was just kind of like nostalgic for like older mysteries. So I did really enjoy that. And if you like that kind of mystery, definitely check it out. It's Tropical Blues by Cheryl Woods. The next book I read was 3 Courageous Words by L. James, and this is a book by Harlequin, and Harlequin was kind enough to send me this one as well as Tropical Blues. I'm doing a video with them for the Read Bliss channel, and it's all going to be all about like romantic suspense, and that'll be coming out in a little bit of time, so I don't think it's actually mentioned but on this channel, but I am working with Harlequin Books for their YouTube channel called Read Bliss, and I'll make sure to link it down below because it's a lot of fun. It's basically just a YouTube channel platform to talk all about romance novels, and it's just not just Harlequin books, it's from all different publishers. I'm having the best time like working with them and kind of reading different books and kind of making the videos, and if you're interested in kind of hearing just more about romance novels, definitely go check out their channel. It's a lot of fun, and there's a lot of other booktubers as well working with them and putting videos on or giving videos for their channel, so I will link them down below. But this is one of the ones I read recently and I really liked this. So this one is, I'm kind of discovering that I really like romantic suspense books with either military or like FBI or something like that, kind of like higher stakes, I guess you'd say. I just find it a little bit more intriguing and a little bit more engrossing. So this one is about Buck Graham Buckner, who is a Navy SEAL, and Angela Vega, and basically this book takes place in Sudan, which I thought was really cool. And she is a Doctors Without Borders, and he is over there as a Navy SEAL, and basically there is a huge warlord, and the story kind of evolves around trying to figure out where his base is and kind of take him out, basically. And I just thought it was so interesting. I love that Angela was a doctor. She was like not to be messed with, but she also did have vulnerabilities, which I liked, because I feel like you don't have to have a woman who's, you know, a very strong, a very bright woman and also doesn't have any vulnerabilities, because that's just not reality. So I liked that she was very well fleshed out. I liked Buck. They had a history. I feel like a lot of these books, the characters always have like a bit of a past, and they kind of like knew each other in the States and like randomly met each other over in Sudan, and I just really enjoyed this book. I thought it was really good. I give it 4 out of 5 as well, and if you want something that's definitely like a military type romance, definitely check this one out. The next book I read was called Prophecy Awakened by Tamar Sloan. I don't know if you can see this that well, but hopefully you can see it a little bit. This is my iPad because my Kindle is dead. But this is book 1 in the Prime Prophecy series, and I kind of saw this book going around. I'll put this down because it's kind of heavy. But I saw this book on, I think it was Instagram, and it just sounded like such a fun, like paranormal YA read, kind of like really nostalgic for like kind of the older YA reads that I've read, and it was a lot of fun. I gave it 4 out of 5 as well. It was a pretty quick read. It definitely gave me like all the like Twilight and the kind of like books right after Twilight vibes. Basically, it follows our 2 main characters and our main male character. You find out pretty early on, like I don't think this is a spoiler, but he is a werewolf. Like he's a werewolf. I don't think that's too much of a spoiler based on like the cover and everything. But basically, they live in this town, and there's like 2 different like tribes, I guess, clans. What do you call them? One of those 2. And our female character is like the new student at school, and she's had to like leave a lot of her different schools, and you don't know exactly why when she starts, but she has kind of abilities, and they're really interesting abilities. Her ability is basically to kind of communicate with animals, and at the end of book 1 you still don't exactly know what she is because she's not a werewolf, but she's something. So I thought that was really interesting. If you're looking for something that's just really fun, really quick, but definitely gives you like old nostalgic vibes for like Twilight and things like that, definitely check this one out. There is a book 2 out, and book 3 is coming out soon, so I kind of was waiting to read book 2 until book 3, which is the last one, came out, so I didn't have to like kind of wait. But I liked it. It was definitely cute. I will say it dragged a little bit. I think it could have been maybe cut down a little bit, and I would have liked it maybe a bit more, so that's why I gave it 4 instead of 5. But it had, you know, all the fun things like with werewolves and things like that you see. There was like mating and all that jazz, so it was definitely really cute. And the last book I read this month so far is Come Back to Me by Mila Gray. I just bought this book the other day because it was on sale for $2.97 at Books A Million, so I had to pick it up. But this is a military romance, and I love this. I gave it 5 out of 5. I really think this is part of what helped me get out of that reading slump that I had been in. It was so good. So I will say this is a very emotional read, so if you want something that's like just very happy, maybe don't read this. I will say it was a happy book, but it definitely put you through the ringer in the process. So it follows our main characters, Jessa and Kit. And Jessa, well, Kit is her brother's best friend, and she has known him and kind of had a crush on him for a very long time. And at the start of the book though, she's 18 and he's 21. So I feel like it's finally kind of like coming to fruition. Like she's kind of noticing him, she has been noticing him, and he's kind of noticing her, but he's in the military with her brother and just came back for leave around her 18th birthday when things kind of kick off. And basically it's just their story. This one I don't really want to say too much about because I do think you can kind of be spoiled if I say too much. But it was so good, guys. Like, have your tissues ready. But it was really good. I really enjoyed just the way they explored kind of the hardships of being with someone who's in the military and how much strain that can put on a relationship, and how it almost like affects whether you're even gonna be in the relationship when they have to leave in a month, you know, for a year. I just really enjoyed this one, and I can't wait to read book 2, which is about one of her friends that is in this story. I will say I don't completely know if this is YA or adult. It's always in the YA section, so I think it's marketed as YA, but having read it, I personally think it's more of like a new adult or adult novel just because of some of the kind of content that's in here. I don't think necessarily is like really, at least not young YA, maybe like the upper like levels of YA, but having said that, just, you know, maybe do some research and see if it's something you'd be interested in. But I loved it. It was so emotional, and I was a little worried about this one. Based on the prologue, when I was reading it, I was like, oh, this could either go really well or really bad, and it went really well, but whew. So yeah, definitely pick this up if you're looking for like a really sweet but also emotional read. So those are the 5 books that I've read so far this month. Let me know what you guys are reading. Let me know if you've been like reading a lot of books or if you're in a bit of a slump like me. I just feel like sometimes this happens a couple times a year and then you just kind of get out of it. But I really enjoyed the books that I did read, and I hope to read a lot more later this month. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!